First of all, thank you so much for sharing your Friday morning with me. I will hopefully provide you with some good tidbits and a good overview with what I learned at Inbound last week. Um, it will be, I went through this, it's about 30 to 35 minutes. There's some slides that I will not go into details about because they're too detailed, but you will receive these and then you can see them. So like some benchmarks and data and resources you can do on your own. But let's run through this. First of all, welcome. I want to say that this is very heavy about AI and how that changes marketing, but also some other tidbits on how the marketing world works right now. And I want to say I don't know everything. No one does. And if they say they do, they're fibbing. They're like they can't. Even these people up on stage, they were like, we're seeing this right now, but a lot can change in the next 9 to 18 months. So here's a quick table of content. I'm just going to talk quickly. What is inbound? What is AI in marketing? How is AI changing marketing? SEO versus AEO. That's where you see the biggest changes. Some important graphs and numbers from Neil Patel. I love him. He's like a guru. So I wanted to talk about a few things he said. And then I want to bring it down to this audience of like, how would I apply this here? Because that's like the biggest question I'm getting. And then I even will walk you through how you can do a prompt and use this yourself in ChatGPT. So what is inbound really quickly, guys? Like, I was on the corporate side for many years. I did marketing for like Audi, VW, Porsche on the corporate side, and we always worked with agencies for a lot of the tactical. So when I started my agency, like I didn't know all the details in the tactical. I didn't know what inbound was, but I went for the first time last year. So it is a huge yearly marketing event conference that's put on by HubSpot, which is a CRM system like Salesforce. And the goal of the conference is to share ideas on how to reach customers in new ways, like what technologies are out there, what the shifts, what are they seeing. And here's a list of speakers. And if the only person you're recognizing is Amy Poehler, don't freak out. Like that's over a year ago. That would have been the only person I knew. But because I've been going and I've been following these people, like I do know more people now. But if you only recognize her, like don't freak. Like that's totally fine. So what is AI in marketing? When I talk about AI, it's these new search engines, these search features, right? It's like the ChatGPT, but there are multiple ones of these, right? So it's like this technology that can take all this information and spurt it back to you. I think most of you guys have used it, but there's different models. Just like when we had Google and Yahoo, we have ChatGPT, we have Gemini, we have a European version, we have a Chinese version. Like we have no idea who's going to win out, and all these models are good at different things, and this is all evolving. But most of us will probably know ChatGPT. And so the way it works in marketing, it's like it's human focus. We think about the creativity, the big ideas, and we provide a final gut check. For example, I recorded all of the sessions I went in and I had transcripts done and I uploaded them into ChatGPT and I told it, give me a webinar. I gave it really good prompts and really good guidelines. And still, when it made me this presentation, I had to completely redo it because it was not what I downloaded myself from all these sessions, and it was not what I wanted to give back to you. So it does take a final gut check, but AI can handle the boring stuff. I'm sure you've all used it for like writing emails, blog posts, social research, brainstorming, and amplifying your messages. And we'll go more into detail what I mean with amplifying. So now the biggest part is like, where has AI changed marketing? And I know the obvious is like, you'll see the text in emails and social posts with all the emojis where you're like, AI wrote this. You know the images that have been created, the fake ones, the fake videos. That is all the obvious. But then the not so obvious is in the background, where marketing was always a straight line, or tended to be. So it was like you see an ad, you Google search something, you have a website that comes up, you click on it and you buy. Now it's a big circle, right? People are shifting away from Google searches into like ChatGPT answer searches. So there's a huge problem in the industry right now that they're saying there is less traffic to websites, and the traffic has totally dumped because people are going originally into Google and be like sourdough recipe, right? And then websites would come up. People would click on these websites and get the answer. Now a lot of that is happening in ChatGPT, so people are not clicking on websites anymore. So to me, I'm like, oh my God, where does that go, right? So I was in a session that was so technical and it was done so well. They really explained it. In very detail. I'm not going into these details with you, but pretty much we're not shifting yet from SEO away. You'll see that in later slides. That's still very relevant today. Google is still very relevant. Like someone said, there's very smart people working at Google. They're not going to be left behind. But then we're shifting towards AEO, which is so SEO is search engine optimization. AEO is AI engine optimization, and people have different terms for it. This is the HubSpot term for it. So in the old times, it was mainly short keyword searches, right? You would put in great indoor plants. Now it's going to longer conversation phrases where people are going into ChatGPT and they're saying, what's a really good plant that fits my house, and I travel a lot, and I want it to be aesthetically pleasing, right? So this is more a longer search, and that would happen in Google or in ChatGPT, right? The way that worked on the back end, how we made sure to show up in these searches, is that we would be blogging, and we used to use these short keywords like indoor plants, easy indoor plants. We would also target customers by general geographics. We would look at age, ethnicity, income, lifestyle, travel, maybe put that in a little bit, right? So if we knew they like golf, well, then we would focus on golf websites or to align us with the golf content. Well, now it's going to, you hear this word hyper personalization a lot, because even if you're still going to Google and still just putting in great indoor plants, the AI systems in the background are now looking at your past searches. So they might suggest a great indoor plant that matches retro aesthetics, improves air quality, is easy to keep alive, and safe for dogs. Because previously you have searched for a retro couch on Amazon, you looked for an air purifier, you bought dog treats for your golden poodle, and it knows that you need to keep the plant alive easily because you're managing all your travel itinerary on ChatGPT. You didn't tell it that, it knows this. So again, the results are that there's less traffic to websites, but the ones that you are getting are more qualified leads, which means they convert better into sales. Oh my God, where does this go? Like me, I'm like, oh my God, how do I navigate this? And where does this take us? Again, take this QR code. Yamini Ragan, she's the CEO of HubSpot. She did just yesterday a really good LinkedIn post that explains this a little bit further. If you're not doing digital marketing, meaning you're not doing SEO and search engine, don't freak out about all of this, but you should be thinking about it, and I'll get into that too. But AEO is, like I said, the AI engine optimization. It's how you increase your company's visibilities in the AI answers. Remember, people are searching on AI and they want answers. SEO is about being in the top 5 links, like on Google or Yahoo. AEO is about being part of the answer. In SEO, you use blogs, keywords, backlinks, and meta tags to show up, right? It's like just short phrases that you're putting in your website to rank. In AEO, you use stats, quotes, and high authority sources. This is still kind of like HubSpot said, these are the things we tried, this has worked, but no one 100% knows answers either. SEO rewards reputation. So does AEO, but they look that you have repetition of content across multiple trusted sources. With SEO, volume is the goal. With AEO, conversion is the game. So what that means is that since AI is focused a lot on questions, they are going to look at phrases that give these answers to these questions. And they're going to look at reputable websites first, like Wikipedia, Reddit, YouTube, and social media. So they're going to these reputable pages and going down. So this is one part I'm not going to go into detail, but that means also they are looking on a website now. So the way I would do it, before you did SEO, you did a lot of blogging. That doesn't go away, but the way you write your blog is going to change. So you're not just like writing one blog post anymore where you give your opinion and you talk about a topic and you're stuffing it with these keywords. You're really thinking about what is a question that my customer, my target audience could ask, and then you give it short, optimized phrase answers. And another thing they say is like videos is good, comparison tables, and FAQs. Think about it. If people are asking questions and AI is looking for answers, FAQs are a perfect format for that. So an example would be like when you used to look up B2B email benchmarks, right? Someone would Google that B2B email benchmarks. People are now looking for longer answers. Instead of just putting B2B email benchmarks in your blog as a keyword, you would actually give an answer like a good B2B email open rate is typically between 15 to 25%. So that's an answer. So that's kind of where this is shifting, they're saying. Where AI changes marketing the most, again, what I just said, in these search engines, in this Google search, people ask questions, AI gives answers directly, and businesses need to show up there. Now, content blocks, I just talked about that. AI makes creating these things faster, but the best content still wins. So you still need that human gut check. Videos are big, and in blogs as well. And then the paid ads are still working from what I'm seeing and hearing. Email, AI makes emails feel more personalized. We'll go through that in the later prompts where we can use that. And it helps send the right message. Social media. That's where I said like it's evolving. So a lot of people are also searching on social media platforms, and I'm sure they're going to start putting AI into their search functions. So like they keep talking about Reddit and YouTube and LinkedIn, and people search on TikTok, on Instagram. So be aware of this. AI also searches on these sites to find the results. But like I said, it's not limited to search engines anymore. People search everywhere. So what does that mean? They keep saying like you just got to be everywhere. And I wonder also if they're saying that because like it's just so fastly and quickly developing that we don't know yet where it's going. So like play it safe. But where I have found AI to be very helpful is with the research side, the advice, the brainstorming, and data analysis. So I'll take like my LinkedIn data out of my LinkedIn and put it up, and I'll ask it how to help me get more content, more suggestions, and so on. But I will tell you one thing. Now you will hear me repeat this. Whatever you put in a ChatGPT is going to be public knowledge. Like the AI systems are going to use that to build their future research. So don't put any sensitive information up there, like any client data you don't want up there. Don't do that. So you would have to work in your company. Some companies have those closed AI systems, but don't put sensitive information in there. That will be a limitation. So then I talked about Neil Patel. He's a digital marketing guru. I really got introduced to him last year when I was at Inbound, and he's just so to the point, tactical advice, facts, facts, facts. He has one of the biggest marketing companies out there, so they do go based on a lot of the data. They work with huge enterprises, so I trust what they're saying. He has a podcast, The Marketing School, that's also very helpful. So again, what they're saying is there's less traffic, more sales. Right now, most people still use ChatGPT to research, and they still buy on Google. Mind you, I'm sorry, I wanted to say one more thing. Excuse my typos. We came back from the conference last week. I had a conference on Tuesday, so I put this presentation together for you all while still trying to get client work done and make this sound okay. So excuse those typos. They will be taken out once we send this to you. But to keep going, because this one has a lot. But nobody reads anymore, really. So he had a really good point that like the time spent per day is mostly on videos, right? So that's clear to us. So they say 154 minutes on videos. The other one, podcast, 53 minutes on podcast, makes sense to me too. That's why you see them jump up everywhere. Also, video content gets shared 8 times more. Again, we all see this. 60 minutes on articles, I would even think that's high because I don't think I might read an article a week. And then the customer journey is longer and harder to predict. And then trust matters. And you'll see this also in my suggestions. Trust matters. He said, your mom will open 100% of the emails you send. And that applies to your business too. And then AI just indexes based on trust. So let's go through some of these graphs real quickly. So what AI citations? So like where does AI pull data from? And again, it's a lot is Wikipedia because they just trust that site. Also, I want to just say, this is now. This can change. It can be something different in a month. I don't know how quickly these. Remember when ChatGPT first came out, I think 2 years, they had a limit where they said, oh, this is data up from 2 years ago, right? And so when you were researching something, it was had like a time limit. Now that's like, it's I think pretty much live data. So it's pulling from Wikipedia, but also blog posts. So still do your blog posts because it's still pulling from that. And then other ones you see is like news, comparisons, and so on. Also, this was important. Google is not dead. You see it on LinkedIn, like SEO is dead. No, it's not. Don't stop doing it. You see like there's still 13.7 billion daily searches. Again, and Google is going to also stay with the game. They have a lot of people there. They're not going to let themselves be falling behind. What I found interesting too is all the other searches where people are searching. It's like, the Instagram, Snapchat, we forget about that. But I think that was like really popular 10 years ago, and these people are still using it, and they're now decision makers. They're still on there. LinkedIn, Pinterest. Pinterest actually has a high conversion rate. Like people buy from Pinterest a lot. So that's where that social media piece comes in. Engagement rate by content, how to's. Again, I'm not surprised with this. Comparisons, like if people are researching on these platforms, they're looking for like how to make my sourdough bread, and then those videos come up. People are really looking for advice and help. Then going into video platform, I know a lot of people are researching on TikTok, and that is going up. But if how-to videos are big, you're not teaching someone how to make sourdough in 30 seconds. That's the longer content video, and those still live on YouTube. Again, that can all change, but right now that's what they're seeing. B2B marketing is only linked on LinkedIn, also a myth. If you're looking in this graph, it's heavily on YouTube too, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, and on X. again, it's like where do you show up? Like, do you show up on all of them? And we can talk about that. And like, my advice is like, kinda, you try to see how you can take your content, um, and apply it to some of these platforms, and AI can ChatGPT can help you with that. But again, there's always this still that human element. Like I haven't found anyone yet that can like take that content and then also post it, right? So there's still work to be done, which is kind of good because that also means we still have jobs, right? So we're still needed. And now this is the one part that we've seen a comeback. A few years ago, I would have said like emails are dead. Now with all this noise and with all this fake content, like emails are actually doing 11 times better. You see like there's a huge revival on email. There's a whole conference in November that's just on email marketing. And so it's this whole mentality. When I would do email for you, don't buy lists. I have tried that, just so I could advise it to my clients. I haven't seen really much success because the people don't know you unless you're selling like a really cool, like a shoe or a product people can see in their inbox. For B2B and services, it's still very tough with random email. So you slowly and carefully build your email list. And if you're sending out smart content, like you're converting people. And even with this webinar, like I found people to respond to emails, and be like, oh my God, or they would respond totally unrelated, but I would be in mind because they saw my email. Again, just wanted to show this quickly. Blogs are still winning. You still got to do them. And this is also just a quick one, like the tone, unfortunately, like the urgency tone still is winning, in your messaging. And then quickly, again, just this whole idea of like Google is still very in high demand. If you see this graph, like the people that use the free ChatGPT or the people that use a paid for ChatGPT, they all still highly prefer Google. And if I think of myself, like I really do use ChatGPT as my assistant, like I help me with my work. But when I really look for a product to buy, I still either go on Amazon or I go on Google and I want to find an actual company. I still do that there. So what does this mean? I literally walked away. I'm like, oh my God, I need a team of 10 people just to like be everywhere. But that doesn't make sense. That's not, we can't, right? So number one advice, if you're doing digital marketing, and what does digital marketing even mean? It means if you're paying ads, you're doing anything in SEO, you have to work with a really good digital marketing agency. Um, I don't do this because I firmly believe digital marketing is a skill that's learned over years, and you have to have best practices. You learn this from doing many campaigns, and seeing what works and what doesn't. Because like if you click just the wrong target audience or the wrong geography, you're spending and wasting your client's money immediately, and you can't get it back. Like you can't call Facebook and like, oh my God, I targeted the wrong group and we just spent all this money. Can I have it back? No, because they did the service. So I believe in working with really good tactical partners, which we have. And so if you're working with an agency, I would go to them and ask them right now, how are we preparing for this shift in SEO to these ChatGPT engines? And if they say nothing, we're just keeping doing our blogs, that's a red flag. Because even if this was before AI and you were going to start SEO today, you weren't going to see results for 9 months to a year because it's a long building process. So I theorize that's the same with this. Just because Google is still working now, it does technology. AI has been. People are so surprised how quickly it has been adapted. It's one of the fastest adapted technologies out there. So that to me means it's just going to speed up quicker. So we have predictions, we have advice that's given to us. Start implementing those. Just take one or two. Like if it's just like putting FAQs into your blogs, but then you're styling your messaging into a question and answer, just do that. Paid, I don't know that. I haven't seen as much yet, but like the question is, when will paid ads start showing up in ChatGPT answers, right? Like that's, I would think that's coming. So now let's bring that back down to this. Like I know most people here are smaller to medium-sized businesses, and to me, like if I look at my own business and when I look at my clients, it's still community. Where's my community? Community has been around for thousands of years. Like people trust people, people buy from people they trust, and community is most important. And being genuine. So I would focus on the social media platforms you're doing. Um, just engage genuinely, make genuine content. Be careful with the ChatGPT prompts with all the emojis. I get it turned away from it, and I'm sure most people will too. Again, there's a conference we'll be attending. There's a QR code to that conference. It's from Jay Swendelson. He's the marketing guru. He was at this conference. It overlapped with another session that I wanted to go to, and so I know I'm going to this conference instead. Emails are still very good. There's best practices here, so we might have another webinar after that one, or I might just send out some tips. And then attend networking events, community events, engage with your leads, and make your own community events. Like that's what this webinar is. It's a community event where we're just giving advice on based on something that I have learned and I want to share, right? So if just think of something small, it can be 5 people, it can be 10 people, it can be 20. Like a lot of things that last a long time, they start small, and they grow. Again, show up in many places and don't just rely on Google. Try YouTube, try podcasts, try newsletters, try social. And then, but like, how do you decide? Right now, what I would do if I were in your shoes, I would look back at the past 9 months and say, what has worked? Keep doing it. What has not worked? Just because it doesn't work doesn't mean it wasn't good. So look at why it didn't work and could you tweak it? Because the effort was already there. Better to just tweak it. But if it really didn't work, cancel it. Like I said, I bought email lists. They didn't work. I canceled it. I'm not going to do that again for my own business. Identify, and that's what we're going to do in the prompt, identify your target audience and see where they show up, right? So when I try to work with dealer groups and dealer general managers, right? And because I have a lot of clients in that space, they're not on my LinkedIn. They're not on LinkedIn checking what promotion Paul got. So the stuff that I do on LinkedIn, they're not seeing. They're in their stores. They're on the showroom floor. They're doing closing sales. They're not like maybe they'll be on LinkedIn, Instagram here and there. But if I want to get their attention, I have to go where they are, and that's in their store in their dealership floor room, right? So think about that. Really think about who your ideal customer is and where they're at, and meet them there. And then it's that whole personalizing things. Like I went to Inbound and I had 2 different business cards. I had one that looks like this presentation. It was more fun. And then I had a very simple one that actually had like these packages that we're selling for startups, very straight to the point, very minimalistic, that I gave out depending on what I felt the vibe was. So just like that really cost me like another $20 on a Canva business card. And I think it made a difference. Then I said, get ready for that AI search, write content in a way that answers questions directly, repeat your messaging clearly, and then work with those reputable sources. And a good digital marketing agency should be able to help you with that. They should be aware of this. They should have ideas. They should have best practices. And then email marketing best practices, again, we'll go into detail later, but don't send spam, be short and real. And then another one that I'm going to talk to people about is segment your list. If you have a list of 200 people and you just send them everything the same all the time, now you're kind of spamming. And if, like, for example, I sent my entire list, top tips on dealership marketing, a lot of them are just going to zone me out. But if I segment my list into the people that I know are in the auto industry, or the people that I know are in the financial industry, or the people that are in the government and state agency industry, and I send different content to them, then people are listening. And I'm going to advise that to my clients as well. And ChatGPT can help you here, right? And then it's always with emails, give, ask. So it's like I give advice, I give advice, I give advice. Hey, please join my webinar. It's as simple as that. I know I say that, but it is still a lot of work. Social media is more than just posting. People use social to search. Think about those how-to videos. I could have a section on all of this for hours. Like, and if you do have questions, like I'm going to stay after the call for as long as you need me to, and you have questions, email me. We can go into detail on this. But there's really good ideas with social explainer videos I believe in. And then when you go into LinkedIn, they're saying show up in the comments, and then these videos of these thought leaderships, they work really well, especially with companies when they have their leadership do videos on LinkedIn. Then people see there's real people behind the companies again, and it builds that trust when the CEO, the COO, the VP is posting a video about the company and their products, and they believe in it. Like that to me is just it's very meaningful, and it builds a lot of trust in the company and their products. So I'm sorry, guys, you're going to see a lot more of me like that, because in my industry where it's B2B, I don't have a product you can see, and you just have to trust that I know what I'm doing. Like that's where it works for me. They're saying, so I'll trust them and follow that line. This is another slide I'm not going to go too much into detail of. I did participate in a LinkedIn session. The QR code goes to their website as well, where this is a guy, he was there last year. The session was full, and they even did 2 sessions this year. And he gives really good advice on how to do LinkedIn paid ads. And we are getting close to that 35 minutes. So you will see this. If you have questions at the end, just ask me. TikTok, again, I'm not a TikToker, and I know it's very important. It's growing in importance. 70% of people there discover new brands. I'm not surprised on that. I hear all the time. I saw this on TikTok. 92% of them take action. The one piece here too is they don't want polished content. They want those videos where they know it's a real person behind it. And there's a lot of how-tos on TikTok, I heard. So like that's that whole like from YouTube shifting to TikTok with the how-to videos that is happening, but like we said, a lot of that is still on YouTube. Lastly, okay, so let's download all of this, and if you walk away with this today, again, do that whole thing, look at what's worked for the past 9 months, analyze that. Now with that hyper personalization, what that means to me is I need to identify who am I really trying to target. And that should be like 3 to 5 people. I say 3 to 5 people based on how big your team is and how much work you can handle. I'm going to stick with 3. And because I'm not a big team, and if I have to target 5, then that means every effort I have to multiply by 5. So what I did, and so I would advise you to use ChatGPT or use AI, get familiar with AI, don't get left behind. Yes, there is a way, just like social media, we've seen a lot of technology trends with website and internet coming, with YouTube versus with Yahoo versus Google, with social media on the rise. They all came up, they all changed. Like Facebook was the first one, they're not the most used anymore, right? So you have to stay with the trend if you want to stay ahead. For me, that means a lot, like looking at my own business and like, where do I have to pivot? Because ChatGPT is going to take over some of the services I offer. So I have to stay ahead of that. Otherwise, I'm closing my doors in a few years. And that's what you have to do with your business as well. Luckily, there's some of you like out there like Swelly who do a water scooter. AI is not taking over that. You're fun and safe, but like you can use AI to help you spread your messaging. So this prompt I'm going to send to you, and what I did here is I asked ChatGPT. What I have in blue would be your personal information, and what I have in black is the prompt. So I would say go and say go to ChatGPT and say, in this world of hyper personalization, help me find my top 3 target audiences. If you want more, do more. I would stick with 2 or 3. Write your business, your LinkedIn page, your website, say what you're offering. And then I said, we also sell these quick starter packages to small startups and small companies. My goal is to sell more of those. And then you have the black text there that's saying, like, what industry should I focus on based on who I'm already engaging with on LinkedIn and Instagram? If you're a new company, say, based on my competition, I've been here for 3 years, I can use my own data. You're new, say, what's my competition doing? And then give me the channels that I should focus on, and what messaging do you suggest, and the actions, the call to action. You can also upload any data you feel comfortable with sharing. Remember, what goes into ChatGPT becomes public if you don't have a closed system. So be careful with what data. But I wouldn't, like my LinkedIn social post data, I would put it up there as well. And then it gave me like a really good, it gave me really exactly what I was looking for. I got 3 examples back that I'm not going to go into detail here, but for every example, it gave me different channels. It didn't just give me LinkedIn and webinars and emails for every single one. It gave me different things. It gave me different messaging. It gave me different call to actions. And I'm probably going to sit down with that and do a gut check and kind of like think about it in my head too, and then probably execute on that. And this is also some resources of some of the coolest tools that are out there. I will share this with you guys too if you have any questions. This is the moment to ask them. Feel free to also send me feedback if there's anything that you would want to know more about, if there's a session that I should host that you would want to hear more about. Please feel free to let me know. I think we did 35 minutes, which is pretty good. If you want to get and call it to your Friday and go home, please, thank you so much for joining the call. But if you have some questions, I'm happy to stay on and answer anything that's on your mind. You just have to unmute yourself, or you can put it in the comments section too. Nope. No questions? Yeah, Reggie, are you able to unmute yourself? Yeah.
I just did. I just wanted to thank you for this. It was some good information, and it was a pleasure meeting you the other day, and thanks for inviting me and or all of us to your presentation.
Well, and thank you for taking the time, because I know time is the only thing we have right now. And so I really appreciate you signing on.
Yeah, and I frankly, as a marketing professional, am guilty to this point of not, even though I use ChatGPT, it has not been a big consideration, as big of a consideration as it should be in my, you know, job use rather than just as a consumer.
I get it. It's like, where do you start? When they also talk a lot about like, start with an AI tool. I'm like, well, which one? That's another question you can ask. You can tell ChatGPT, this is my job. This is what I do on a daily basis. You can take the Otter app and you walk through every day what you're doing. And the Otter app transcribes your voice. And then so you're saying, I'm doing this task, I'm doing this task. You take that transcript, you put it in ChatGPT, and you say, where can ChatGPT or any AI tools make my life easier? I see a question about content production with Reddit, right? And that was a question that came up in the session too. And I can do more research on you for you on that. Reddit is like a community-based thing, and you can get flagged if it seems like it's an ad. So I'm happy to follow up on that, but I think it would be like starting conversations that don't focus so much on your content. But yes, that is a really good question that they didn't have quite an answer for either. And they were even like, Neil Patel was even, they were like, hey, so Neil, how are you using Reddit? And he's like, no comment. So I think there's still like, there's like still a secret sauce on how to do it. But I can definitely do more research on that and send that out with the email as well. Thank you.
I would say another thing, if you don't mind.
Do you have another question? Yeah.
I was just going to say, you mentioned Wikipedia and the others, and I agree that those are very popular, but we know that with AI, the content out is only as good as the content in it learns from. So, and we know that Wikipedia may be a potentially great resource, but you've got to be very careful because it's not like an old school true encyclopedia where there are, factual things in there. A Wikipedia,
Yes.
people may have biases in Wikipedia, and the data may be misinformed. So you still got to be careful. And I think, would you agree too that AI is still bad with biographical information and with dates? So you always want to double check that you're not overusing your AI too much.
I completely agree with you. I actually did anytime there's client work or something, I double check everything because actually for my Subaru dealership, I did an ad and they listed some of the features and I had to go back on the Subaru.com website to double check everything and some of it was incorrect. So yes, again, like it takes that human gut check. Carolina, you said what examples would not be shared on ChatGPT? I would say if you're working, for example, I would probably not put my from my MailChimp, my email list, right? I have an email list that I engage with people on. I would not put that into ChatGPT because it has my clients' personal information. Even if that might be out there, I don't want to contribute to putting that out there more. Or if you have sales, so any client information, client data, I would not put out there. If you do want to use chat AI to analyze your data, internal data, I would look into those closed systems that I know a lot of companies have. Yeah, so anything kind of like that's privacy that could be iffy sharing, I would not share. Yeah, sensitive information. Exactly. Yes. And internal data. Or even if like you have a great idea for I don't know, I sometimes think about, that's where you like, oh, if you have a startup idea, right? I'm always like, wait, should I tell ChatGPT this? Because they might steal it, right? So like I don't know. It's like still it's like the same thing when the internet came up and when social media came up, like you put it up there and you're like, oh, I can delete it. No, 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 it's up there. So I would still always go with that gut check. Right now, ChatGPT is my preferred, but also because I haven't really used any of the others. So I kind of like the format that it's working in, and but I also do have projects there. I have uploaded documents into there. What I sometimes do too, like when I do social media content for clients, I take all of their past posts, they're public, I put them in there. Then ChatGPT has learned their language and the way they say things. And then I create my next posts with that. So I just have kind of tied myself already to ChatGPT. And that's why I use it a lot. Yes, Carolina. Yes, ChatGPT. People are forgetting. I love how a lot of us who've lived through the internet craze and the social media craze, we know once it's out there, like it's out there, and that's the same with ChatGPT. So you should use it the same as you would use your social media platform. That's why I also wonder when people are using ChatGPT for therapy. Um, I don't know, if someone's gonna look up like what the Lene Allen's mental problems. Like, I don't know. We don't know where this is gonna come out, right? Like social media has bitten so many of us in the butts that I would just always go with caution and just use it for writing your email newsletter, and then asking ChatGPT, can you change this to this target audience that we agreed upon, or helping you with your social posts and helping you brainstorm. So I would just at this point see what you're comfortable with, and then I would think that there will be more closed systems, because right now they need you to use it. They need all of us to use it to train the system, right? That's how ChatGPT works. You train the system. We read an interesting book, it's called Playground. It talks about how um, these systems are trained, so they're looking for us to train it. But maybe in the future there will be more closed systems, like Google has incognito. Again, right, we found out it's not really incognito. So just always like don't trust them as much, but use it with caution. I was just in another presentation where they were just blowing AI up, and they were saying you have to use it. And it was all positive, positive, positive. I think it's great, but you have to use it with caution. Use it responsibly.
Hi, Lene. It's Alexis Skegan-Rago with Marketing Mana. How are you?
Hi, good to see you. Good to hear you.
Good. Yeah, sorry. I just did a walk with a client, so I'm not camera ready right now. But
Totally.
anyway, I'm interested, and I apologize. I was a little late, so I'm hoping that you'll send out a recording of this so I can catch the first half.
Yeah.
But for AI, so I'm a huge ChatGPT user. I have the paid version. So
Yeah.
supposedly I have changed my settings so that my information will not be outwardly shared. Hopefully that is actually true.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in understanding from your perspective, what's taking up the most mental space for you right now about AI as a business owner?
Um, Not business case. I'm worried about misinformation. I'm like from a personal perspective, I'm worried about the images and all of that fake. But then again, someone said to me, we've always had Photoshop. Then the next thing is like where you worry about it from a marketing perspective is like we're going to get inundated with content. Creating social posts for all social platforms that are image and text driven is just easier than before. Also video driven. There's tools called Hello Jen, that can create an avatar for you. So now I have ChatGPT create 30-second thought leadership videos for me. It can create me 20. I have uploaded into Hello Jen. It will create them with my avatar, and then I can just upload them. I can do this in 2 hours, and now you're getting 20 videos from me that I did in 2 hours. So I worry about the amount of blog posts. I mean, we've already seen this, blog posts that are so general and non-informative. They're just there for the purpose of SEO. The amount of social posts and content out there that's not genuine, that's like, but then how do you come through? Like, how do you get people's attention through all of this content? And again, that's why I go back to find your channels of community. If you have a networking event that you go to regularly and you know those are the right people, it can be clients or it can be good referrers to clients. You have those people, you follow them on social media, they keep engaging with you on social media, the algorithm will start showing you more. Those are the people on your email list, they follow you more. And then those are the people you generate your own community events for. That's where I would really kind of stay right now, because we're all the emails we're getting. I mean, they're all written by ChatGPT kind of like, and it's just like that's where the noise is just gonna get louder in everything, in movies, in podcasts, in books, in like everywhere. It's just gonna get louder. Even like our PTOs are getting smarter at using ChatGPT, and I'm getting more emails from them, right? Like it's like it's everywhere now. So like there's too much. We're getting bombarded too much. And then as a brand, how do you stand out and get the attention in a genuine way? And how do you stay genuine? How do you stay yourself too? Because as another thing, I'll create something and I'll be like, this is not my tone. Am I lazy and still going to post it? Or do I just stay genuine and say, let me just do it? Or train ChatGPT to do it, right? But that's where I see the problem. So that's a good question.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much.
Anyone else? They're good questions. And again, please feel free to fact check me. I did it. This is straight from the horse's mouth. I did my research, but I don't know everything. And if you find some good information out there that might be interesting to the group, please share it with me. And I will pass it on. I don't ever pretend to know everything, but this stuff, like what I shared today was talked about in multiple sessions, multiple times. So that's what I would suggest my clients to do. So what I gave you today is kind of the playbook that I would do with my clients or myself too. Yes. Anyone signing off, please? We can close this down if there's no more questions. I'll put my email. I mean, you don't need my email in the chat. I will email you and you'll have it. I'll email you the presentation. Then any questions you have, just let me know.